recording this. This is a what? This is November 7th. So Marvel, Kevin Feige, Disney, whatever you want to say, they dropped. It's finally here. I don't know. I don't want to say it's most anticipated because we'll get to that in a moment.
To me, it
Uh,
was.
to Mr. Marvel, Albert, right here. Thank you for joining me, Albert. I know you wanted to discuss this movie, and I honestly do too. I think we're gonna see we're gonna bounce what we thought about Eternals. That's what we're talking about. This is gonna be a spoiler review. You're warned right from the get go. If you haven't seen the film, go watch the film to come back to this channel. Before we get started, be sure to hit the subscribe button. It's really easy. It's a little red. So, look, I have a little thing that says subscribe, but on my YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button. Be sure to click the like button so we can get this discussion going. And also, hit the bell icon. You want to be notified for everything that we do, everything that we post. So thank you guys for joining us. Okay, Albert. So let's get down to it. Spoilers, no particular order. I'm gonna give you my thoughts on the film, and then I want to hear your thoughts. But on if you see the thumbnail, if you see my thumbnail, it
I saw.
says Eternals wannabe Watchmen. Now I'm actually talking about, of course, the comic. There's no way. It's very hard to adapt, like Dune. It's very hard to adapt Dune as a novel. It's very hard to adapt Watchmen as a graphic novel. Zack Snyder attempted it. I think it was fine. I know a lot of people loved it. I actually think there's a lot of good things about it. I think he captures some philosophic kind of message there. It's one of the better Zack Snyder films. I think I appreciate it more now that I've watched the Eternals. Now you're probably asking yourself, Dan, what the hell are you talking about? How is Eternals relate anything related to Watchmen? They're
Mhm.
not even the same. It's a different ballpark. Albert, I sat down and I'm watching the film, and I think we're getting to the third act. It starts dawning on me because I saw a couple of reviews, non spoiler, of course. I saw a couple of reviews kind of like attaching this to other maybe Marvel properties, kind of comparing it to other stuff. But not one person was saying Watchmen. Now, the reason I'm saying Watchmen, it was at the point when Icarus' plan starts coming, yeah, kind of his plan, what he did to Ajax, and the whole thing about here's the message, right? You have to, he's a bad guy, but yet he's not yet a bad, like he knows that they have to birth the celestial because the earth is one aspect of life while the universe is everything. You have to sacrifice one thing for things to grow, to continue life to continue to go. So his moral his thing was like, we have to do this. Earth has to go in order for everything else to sustain, to everything else to continue living. If you've seen Watchmen, even if you've seen Zack Snyder's film, what is the core thing about that? Is the morality, right? The decision making, the sacrifice. Rorschach thinks what was Osmond. I can't say his name. I call him Oz for short. But his major plan was to, in the comic it's an alien race, but in the movie I'll go by the movie because I think a lot of people seen the movie. He frames Doctor Manhattan for this kind of just genocide, just killing everybody in New York, or mostly the population in New York. He pins it on Dr. Manhattan, but it was actually Oz's plan the whole time. He created that. He did that. He killed all those people in order to stop World War III because he knew if he did this, even though how millions of lives were going to die, the bigger picture was he stopped the world from ending. Now, and Rorschach knew the truth, and Rorschach wanted to exploit that. but Patrick Wilson, who plays it's kind of hard to remember. I haven't read the comic for a long time, but Night Owl. Let's just say Night Owl. Uh, he says like Oz is right. Oz is right because you know, as much as I hate to admit it, he's right. He was right on doing that. So what I'm getting at is I think Chloe Zhao went to Kevin Feige in the pitch meeting and said, okay, there's some elements like of this and this, but the I kind of want this to be my Watchmen.
Mhm.
So when Icarus knows it's like that, he's trying to do what Oz was trying to do, except he wasn't that successful because he had this like guilty conscience and he couldn't kill his, the love of his life and blah blah blah. So that's why I'm saying that this film really felt like it was a more serious Marvel film. It was a more serious Marvel film. I thought it was more of the. It was more them trying to swing at something. It really felt like they were trying to go for those awards. When Kevin Feige was like, this movie's gonna go for like this is gonna get some Oscar buzz and stuff. It really felt like they were going for that. So I felt like they were trying to do that. They were trying to go the Watchmen route, and it was a complete failure in that front.
Mhm.
Okay, here it is, Albert. I think this film, by all means, is not as bad as everybody is saying. That they're saying like it's as bad as Thor 2, it's as bad as Captain Marvel. Even though I know you like Captain Marvel, like this movie is trash. It's garbage. It's not. It's not garbage. It's not trash. But after watching from beginning, middle, and end, and oh my god, this is a long movie, and I don't think it needs to be this long. They try it just this is why I felt people were a little bit bored because it kind of just goes. I feel like the script should have been passed, like they should have rewrote the script or like really touched it up at least two times over, because the problem is the flow of it, and the problem is the time jumps, the exposition. It takes forever for them to reunite, and it was kind of funny. It took forever to reunite everybody, and then the speedster of the group, she's just like on a ship. Like there's no arc with her going to find where she's at. She just happens to be in that ship, so we don't need to go find her. She's there. the The pacing of this is terrible. The structure, the editing is, I think that's what it makes it so just conjointed and kind of. There's some like the first action scene, which I gotta say the action scenes were really good, really well done. The first action scene, we get introduced to Cersei, we get introduced to Kit Harington, we get introduced to Sprite, but it's so awkward and fast and junky and jonky, like the editing of it and the reaction. And Albert, I have to say, man, this is the one Marvel. Usually Marvel films have solid acting. I would even say Brie Larson was not bad in Captain Marvel, but in this one it was kind of a hit and miss. There were
Mhm.
some moments where I'm like, ew, do you guys don't have another take on that? Like, there was some moments where it just didn't feel, the acting was just not there. It was like, it was in and out. It was a light switch, right? It was good, but then like, ooh. So I think the script was really, really not handled very well. Another issue I have is that I had to even ask my girlfriend. I was like, is it just me or is it kind of dark? Like, is it like kind of hard to see some of the, like, it's like there's no like color to it. There's like, it's really like the cinematography, it's really like this, like kind of dark, and they're in a forestry and stuff. So no, it's kind of dark. It does kind of like brighten up later on when they're more of like the day kind of shots and stuff, but it's kind of dark, and it's kind of it doesn't really bring any life to it. I think that was the problem with DC over there. A lot of people complain was the atmosphere. I think that works for Batman, but like we can argue, we can go back and argue about that. Like, Superman needs to be a brighter film. Now I think this is Jack Kirby's baby, and he's all about brightness, color, uniqueness on the on just really just a ray of sunshine basically. He has that. When you think Marvel, you think about Kirby, and you think about Stan Lee, but you think about Kirby and his illustrations, right? I think Guardians and also Thor Ragnarok had more color than this film, and that's kind of like not what the Eternals is more of the Thor Ragnarok color scheme. So I was kind of, it didn't hurt me on the film. It just it just a little, it just made me kind of like go, I wish it was brightened up a little bit more. I wish the cinematography was a little bit better than this, but shots were nice. There's some good action sequences, especially with one of the speedsters in the group. Icarus, really, they did a great job when he's flying, when he's using his powers. A great job when all these guys are using their powers. So I think the CGI really holds up. It really looked good. So so it's kind of hard. I think there's more bad than good in this film because I really feel like this is a way too bloated of a film. There's a lot of characters in here. So here's my two major complaints as well. I do appreciate that Kevin Feige, Chloe Zhao, and Marvel. This. I'll give it this. All right. What was the one thing I complained about, Albert? About Shang-Chi. I. What was the one thing I kept ranting about?
For Shang-Chi,
Yeah.
honestly, I don't remember. Remind me.
So I kept ranting about how it was stuck to the same formula. There was
Mm,
nothing. Shang-Chi to me had the most potential out of these films that just came out this year because it could have been really something special, but yet they went back to the Marvel-esque stuff. Now I will give this film credit because they really swung. They really swung. There was a lot of uniqueness to it with the story too. I mean, you got the Celestials as being pretty much God. You have the
mhm,
Deviants. There's some interesting stuff in here. They're going back to periods of time where they couldn't interfere. The
mhm.
powers are pretty unique. I do like a lot of these guys' powers. I mean, what's the one guy who mind controls everybody?
Druig.
Liked him, liked his powers. I mean, this dude is a god, right? That's a godly power. Ever Angelina Jolie is basically Princess Diana, Wonder Woman. Honestly, her power scheme and stuff. But here, yeah. So I do appreciate that they went and swung for the fence. They try to hit that home run. I don't think it paid off, but I do appreciate them at least trying something different.
Mhm.
Here's my problem. Talking about Angelina Jolie, I applaud her for sitting back and letting everybody else get the shine, but they needed to recast that role because Angelina's Jolie is way too good of an actress, and I was kind of shocked to see like she still has that that bona fide superstar kind of look. She still looks like Angelina Jolie. I think she was wasted in this film. I think the character is cool, but I think they wasted Angelina Jolie's talents in this film. I think she should have had. If it was me, I would have liked to see more of this character. I think the one interesting aspect of it was her and her relationship to the guy who's super strong. Remember his name?
Yes, his name was Gilgamesh.
Yes, Gilgamesh. And
They just called him Gil for short.
I'll call him Gil. Dude, Gil and Angelina, man, I liked that storyline. I like that chemistry. I actually got a little bit of a romantic kind of take out of it. And I really like the line deliver. I like that line where he says, I'll follow you and I'll still protect. Like, that was great. That was like, okay, here's the problem that I had with the film too. I think it starts getting a little bit better towards the end, but I think there's a thing about these films or this phase that I'm seeing is disconnection. I can't connect to these characters, especially with the Eternals. Out of all the Eternals, I really couldn't connect to them. And there was one Eternal that I did, but then he did something really dirty towards the end. And I'm
Kingo?
talking about Kingo.
Kingo?
Really like Kingo. Kingo was funny. The humor, I did not have a problem. I did not have a problem with the humor this time around. I thought the humor was actually really good. There were some spots where I was like, but most of the part, Kingo was great. Kingo, Gil, when they were interacting, so they were good. But Kingo does, as much as I wanted to connect with him, and as much as he was making me smile and laugh, the dude disappears at the end. He says, Slates,
Yeah,
screw the world,
he
screw
did.
the people, I'm out. And then he comes, and then I'm like, okay, he's gonna come back for the final fight. Never does. Takes in Sprite.
I
And
didn't
then,
hate that though.
huh?
I didn't have a problem with that.
I did. Like, come on, man. Like, you really like. How am I gonna view you as a cool? You just said your assistant. You just sent your assistant to die. If
Yeah,
like they didn't stop
yeah.
Icarus, like your assistant's going to die unless you're taking him with you. But
But look,
he's
he's
gonna die.
known his assistant for like 50 years, whereas he's known the Eternals for what, 7,000 years, plus all the time before that and other planets. So I was like, he doesn't want to fight his family. These are his
True.
brothers and sisters, and he doesn't want to fight either of them. It's like he said, he agreed with Icarus. He was on Icarus' side, but he wasn't going to fight them. So if he was there at the end, he would be helping Icarus, if anything. But
Well, that was the problem I had with the film too. So Icarus has this big old like
eh,
he has this big old thing in the reveal. But
I was
like
spoiled
you
by the way.
like you just said, man. Like you just said, they were gonna follow Icarus.
Mhm.
They're like, hey, whatever you want to do, man, your call. And what does he do? Instead of playing it cool and be like, all right, man, we gotta have this happen. Like this has to happen. I'm sorry, but this has no. He just goes mustache twirling, and like he ruins his whole plan himself. He makes it harder for himself
Who?
at the end.
Icarus?
Icarus, yes. Instead of just I was kind of baffled because he's like, oh no, whatever Cersei wants, this and that. He's just because he says he's just trying to like waste time. They just told you they'll follow you. Like they'll. It doesn't matter if she's the one that she was chosen. Like you could have just right there. You could have been like, nah, we're not gonna do anything. And I'll get to that in a moment because I want to hear your thoughts on it. But let me just finish it off with this. The like I said, I didn't hate the movie. I was really frustrated with Shang-Chi. I liked Black Widow, but I was like, dude, she should have been dead like 5 times. This movie wasn't me actually because I had the lowest expectations of this movie. I wasn't sitting there going, ugh, like Batman v Superman. I wasn't going like, oh my god, is this movie almost over? That wasn't me. What I did though was I was going because this movie is too
Because you
long.
didn't watch in IMAX.
I watched it in a great theater, a great screen, great surround sound, and I heard somebody snore
No,
on the end. Listen, Albert, the movie is I'm sorry, it's boring. It's not it's just going and going and going, but you think there's something happening and you think they're building towards something and they build towards the end, I guess. But it's really just talky, talky, talky. Owen Wilson was popping in my head the whole time, like talky, talky. Like they're really, I've seen so. Dune, Dune has so much sand in that movie. Has so much dialogue in that movie. I don't no clue had no clue about Dune, and Dune was more entertaining than this film. Dune was more interesting than this film. I have to agree. I have to say that with a lot of people who just felt like I'm not just because I wanted more Marvel schlock. That's what I'm saying. I appreciate what they did. This movie, this movie tried to be like Watchmen, try to be smarter than what it was, and try to be more deeper than what it was. But I just didn't think it worked, and it didn't connect to me. I felt like it didn't really connect to the audience I was with. Nobody was really kind of into it, honestly. You could just kind of feel it. Like we were, I was very baffled. I didn't know how long this movie was. I didn't think it was going to be that long. But this movie feels really bloated. That's why I say I think what hurts it the most is the script. Like really, the script really hurts this film. The movie right now is it made 71 million.
Mm.
It made 71 million. It's the lowest Marvel film this year. It's below Black Widow. It's below Shang-Chi. You know damn well it's gonna be below Spider-Man No Way Home. This usually, if you know movie math, second weekend is always a drop. You do not want it to drop to 70%, 60%. That means your movie's not going to make profit. I don't think, I think Kevin Feige has been praising this film, really loves the Eternals. But I think this movie is going to really take a hit in the box office. And I think it's going to drop a lot because it's just too long. It's not, I've seen this story, not storyline, but I've seen like, you know, gathering the troops, gathering your family together.
The beginning of Endgame.
Yeah, done way better. And then we'll get, oh, I'm going to save what I really think is the problem with Marvel at the end. But like I said, Albert, I didn't hate it, but I didn't necessarily enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, disappointed that Kit Harington is barely in it, but I
Was
am
it worth your
excited.
time and money?
Oh, what was that?
Was it worth your time and money?
No,
No, no. Yeah.
I don't think so. I think this movie. I think I would have been okay. Here's this. I don't think you don't. I don't think you have to watch it in the big screen. I think you could watch it on Disney Plus. Honestly, if you have a 75-inch TV, I think you could watch it on the 75-inch TV. Other than like you know Dune, you gotta go watch in the theater. I would even say Shang Chi. I would watch that in the theater. Like I think you know what? I think I enjoyed Shang Chi even though how mediocre and how marvelous or how Marvel formula it is, I think I was a little bit more entertained in that movie. But don't get me wrong, I do appreciate that this film tried to do something different and really hit the mythology of like space, the Celestials, and then I'll let you get into all that and I'll put my 2 cents in it. But yeah, I do appreciate that they're trying to expand it, but I will say I do believe that they're doing way too much. If you're doing multiverse, you're doing the Creed, like it's just too much. Marvel's really, really doing too much. I have to say. So that's my thoughts on it. I don't think you have to watch this in a big screen, but I do love the movie theaters. But my popcorn was so salty this time, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
Albert,
gonna fight you for making that salty popcorn. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, I think he did salty, right? Okay,
Yep.
Albert, I need to hear your thoughts. I know you. We already know what you're kind of going to be praising it, but I got to hear your praises. You got to tell me why this film works for you so much.
Should I start with what I didn't like or save that for the end?
No, let's do positivity because I'm always the negative Nancy in this. I don't want listen, guy. I don't want to be a negative Nancy. I try to go in here like I had the lowest expectations.
Mhm.
I'm not ranting this time, you know, hardcore because you know it's not as bad as everybody is saying. But I'm not praising it like Albert's going to. But I would love to hear his thoughts on why this movie works for him.
All right, so I watched this on Thursday and then last night. So I've seen it twice, and both times were in IMAX. And I loved it. No surprise, right? I love everything Marvel, but like I was scared because you know we all heard the reviews earlier this week, and we're like, oh man, people are saying it's the worst Marvel movie, worse than Thor. And my expectations from the trailers was like the first one I didn't care for. The second one, it looked better. I was still hyped though, just because I don't know anything about the Eternals. They sound cool. They're like the powers that I had read about, so I was excited for it. The reviews just like made me a little more cautious. I was like, well, I gotta be prepared in case I don't like this movie, right? And when I was in the theater, honestly, I kept waiting for the part that everyone disliked. I was like, it's gonna happen. Like, there's gonna be something that's bad about this movie. And the credits rolled, and it just never happened. Like I didn't have anything. There was like nothing major that bothered me in this movie. Um, I'll start with the beginning. The opening when how did it start? Oh, wait, all right. The very opening before the Marvel intro was like
Yeah.
when they first arrive on Earth, right? So it's gonna sound lame, but I was already getting teary eyed just because of how of when they're like not when they're born, but I guess it's like it's revealed later in the movie that they get their memories wiped and they do the same process on many planets, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is their first time being like reborn, I guess, for their mission on Earth. And just the soundtrack was hitting good for me, and seeing like the suits on them, it,
Do
it
you
kind
do
of
you
reminded me a
do you know
little.
who do you
Do
know
I
who
know
did the
who?
soundtrack?
Yep, I know. It's the only thing. It's the only guy that did that showed up to put in work in the final seasons of Game of Thrones, right? Ramen.
So much Game of Thrones in this film, man.
I don't know his name, but the
Rami
uh
Dajin, something like that. Great, fantastic. I will agree with you. Score was great.
the score was great. Quick side note, in the credits when his name popped up on the screen, a few people clapped, and I was like, "That's right." So, actually,
You
I didn't.
recognize greatness. You know, you got your game
Yeah,
recognize game.
I didn't know who was the person behind the soundtrack or behind the score in this movie until I saw his name in the credits, and I was like, "Oh shoot!" So yes, the beginning just with the score, and they're like awakening, they're waking up, right? And it kind of reminded me of the not Transformers, the Power Rangers movie. Had this really cool scene where they suit up for the first time, and that epic like theme is like a similar vibe for me.
Mm,
Um, so yeah, we get that scene. I was like, we're off to a great start, right? I was already getting emotional. I don't know. It's just I was like, they were welcoming us to a new group of heroes, and it's exciting.
mm-hmm.
Let's see what these 10 Eternals can do. And then they hit us with the first action scene we've seen from the trailers, and it was cool. Like it was just to introduce us to their powers, right? At least the five, what's it called? The five with like weapons and stuff, because five of them I'd say are like attack heroes and five of them are support heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like Dina with her swords, Gilgamesh with his like
Strength.
gauntlet kind of looking
I would
thing.
say strength. Yeah.
Kingo with his guns, Makari with the speed, and Icarus with the flight and lasers. Those are the ones I say are the five fighters. And then the support, you got Ajax with the healing abilities, Sprite with illusions, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Cersei with like matter manipulation,
Mm-hmm.
Druid mind control, and then my boy Fastos with basically like the engineer, right?
Yeah,
So
but he was
we got
putting work
introduced
at
to
the
the
end too.
fighters. Yeah,
Yeah.
he put in work at the end. By the end, I was like, he's both. He's support slash attack.
Yeah.
But yeah, beginning scene was cool. The action was cool. I don't care for the design of the what's it called the
Spaceship.
deviants.
Oh, the deviants. Yes.
The deviants. I didn't really care. They're not too memorable for me.
Before I forget, you know what you know what it reminded me of? The
Mhm.
deviants. It reminded me of have you ever seen that movie Edge of Tomorrow
No,
with
but
Tom
that's
Cruise?
yeah. I know the movie. I just never seen it.
Yeah, those
The baddies.
really remind me of those. I don't know what they call them in that film, but they're the main like creatures or aliens
Mm-hmm,
in that movie. They look design wise, they look exactly the kind of the same.
mm-hmm. So yeah, well, I didn't care for that design.
Yeah, the designs.
So design for the deviants were the only design I didn't care for. The character design for the Eternals was cool, and then the Celestials I thought was amazing.
Celestials
We
look
only
good.
really saw like a few of them, but the main one was Asherim, and he seemed so ominous to me. I don't know. He looked cool.
Well, we saw the Celestials in Guardians.
We saw some of them in Guardians, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, but they weren't on this scale. I mean,
Nope.
this dude, though, it looked like Earth can fit in the palm of his hand. Um, but yeah, the beginning was cool for me. Then we get the Marvel intro, and we get into like the actual movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
It starts in the present day, and the main character is Cersei. To me, she was fine. I was going into it thinking that she was gonna be my favorite, but she is not. I do like her, but my favorite is Makari, the speedster.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I also like Icarus, but let me just say real quick, my biggest disappointment was his ending. This
Oh
dude
God.
flew into the sun and he killed himself, which he might come back, right? Because it could be a version of him, because they can just create another Icarus in the World Forge, and they can pick out his memories from a previous life, and it can still be an Icarus that knows the Eternals, just not the Eternals on Earth.
Why would you squander that actor, right?
But exactly, like they could still
Mm-hmm.
do that, but nah, they should have. Here, this is how I wish they would have ended his story. He, fly away, not into the sun, just fly away out of Earth, the same way Omni
Uh,
Man did
or
in
even Vision.
Invincible, or even Vision. Yeah, but I did like him going into space, and
I thought he was gonna just leave,
yeah,
but
yeah,
when he was flying into the sun, I was like, "Are you serious?
I'm
Like you gonna kill him off?"
even when he was flying by the sun, I thought he was just gonna fly by the sun the same way that their ship, which I believe was called the Dro or something like that.
Yeah,
Like like in the beginning, it's by the sun, right? So I thought it was just a little callback to that, but nah, he just goes into the sun. Um,
oh yeah, I got some stuff to say about Icarus
I don't
later
like
on.
about that, but other than that, like the Icarus character, I like, so I wanted to see more of him. Um, he wasn't evil. It's just he's doing his mission, is what they
Mm-hmm.
sent him to do, right?
Yeah,
Like I didn't see him as the bad guy. It depends on where you're at. Like
he
if
did. It is like Watchmen. Like I said, he did bad things for his mission and for the bigger picture.
yep, exactly. It
Mm-hmm.
was even for the bigger picture. That's what Kingo said too. Like if we stop him, we're preventing millions of more lives from living just to save Earth. Um,
I just think that they did it terribly horrible at the end. But I'll get to that in a minute.
yes, but then when he's about to stop Cersei from doing that,
Yeah.
and he remembers like their life, right? It didn't bother me because I was like, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, we might know what it feels like to love someone, but we don't know what it feels like to love someone for 7,000 years and all these lives before that they have. Because the feeling I have is that they fall in love every time, every planet they go to, they fall in love. Um, so then this one is just, I guess, the first time there's like this conflict where Cersei and some other Eternals are saying, "Nah, we're not gonna do to this world what we may have done to all these other worlds." So he just didn't have the strength to kill her because he still loves her too much. He loves her
Okay.
more than he cares about the Celestial's mission. So it didn't
Mission,
bother
yes.
me. Um,
I'm gonna chime in on this one.
mhm,
This is why I think it fell apart
mhm.
because this is a big thing. You're right. They showcased it in a movie that they've been. I think they're married. They're married, right? I mean,
Yeah,
they're pretty
married.
much married,
There's
husband and wife.
a scene where they're married,
I didn't believe the romance. I didn't think
right?
the problem with this film, like I said, is the script.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the big problems is when he kills Ajax, right? Ajax or Ajax? I think
Ajax
it's
with a K.
Ajax. Selma Hayek. All right. They're all kind of mourning on Selma Hayek. First of all, Selma Hayek, if you were expecting her to be in this movie a lot, move over Kit Harington. you know, she's the catapult to really get the twist going, basically, and to really get the story going. Honestly, so he kills her, and there's this big old emotional scene. He's like, "Ugh." I didn't believe it because we only had like a couple scenes in the movie where they're together. So I didn't believe the pain he was in. Great acting on that particular part, but there was no. This is what I'm saying. The disconnect to it. I was disconnected in him because on that particular scene because we we're so busy jumping back and forth trying to find the other members. There is no, you're not showing me the relationship as much as you're having the group together, and it's really, they're really going and going. You're not showing me that particular relationship, which is the most important relationship, because he killed somebody that everybody loves and he particularly loves, and they
Mhm.
talk about it, but they don't show me. I had more connection towards the Angelina Jolie and Gil characters than I had with him killing Ajak.
Mhm.
Going to Cersei, here's the problem with Cersei in that whole romantic plot too. In the beginning of the film, and I'll give you this, Albert, real quick. I did like the beginning of the film. This is where I was like, okay, Albert's kind of right. This is getting pretty, it's going pretty good in the beginning. Once it hits that first deviant, I think that's where it kind of like starts falling apart a little bit. So Cersei is very bland. She's kind of reminds me of she's just a very bland character, honestly. She's a bland character. I'm watching The Sopranos right now, and the therapist is more interesting than Cersei. That's how crazy it is.
No, I like
So,
that.
so Cersei, here's the problem with her. Disconnect once again, because in the beginning of the film, she is with Kit Harington.
Mhm.
They are together.
Mhm.
He says, "Why don't you move in with me, my queen?" You know, they're together. She gives him his family crest or the family ring. And then here comes freaking Icarus.
The
Here comes
pilot.
Mister the King of the North.
Yeah.
I turned to my girlfriend too,
God,
when I
you're
saw
right. The
when I
first
saw
king of the north was Icarus. The
I
second king
know.
of the north, yeah.
Yeah, I turned to my girlfriend like, "That's the King of the North." And you know what's funny is she didn't realize that was Rob Stark.
uh,
I was like, "Oh, you didn't know that was Rob Stark?" She's like, "Oh, that's who it is. I know it looked familiar. That's why I said the King of the North." And then when John came in, I was like, "The King of the North,"
yeah.
And then they had their little moment together. I'm like, "Look at this reunion right here." So you're the air pilot or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so she's with Kit, and then throughout the film, they have this love triangle going on. And here's another love triangle that just does not. It's stupid. I don't need it in here.
Yeah.
But she's ready to bone Icarus again. She's ready to get back with Icarus, and then and then he's like, you're right. He's like, anything for the mission. Let's do this. The ending just felt like, when he doesn't do anything, I get it. He's not doing it because he can't kill the one he loves the most. But there's no connection there. First of all, this chick was about to cheat on Kit and like go back with Icarus. They literally were holding hands and she was dry humping him in the back. Like, why would I? I don't care. And I honestly don't care about her character. I just don't care. I think that's the problem with this movie is she's, I wouldn't even give her, she is the main protagonist in here, but
Hmm.
she's not a protagonist where she gets like, she's kind of like the, what's his name from Lord of the Rings, Fredo or Fred, Frodo. She's like the Frodo, right? She has a mission, but she's not really like, the whole movie's not centered towards her.
It's
But we're
mostly her point
following
of
her.
view, though.
What was that?
It's mostly from her point of view.
Yeah,
'Cause-
pretty much. She's a very bland character. I didn't care for that. So when Icarus like doesn't do it, I was like, or doesn't kill her. I'm like, I know he's not gonna do it, but I just think that it's very, there's no connection there. I don't really care. At that point, I just don't care. But
Um,
I did care that it's him to survive, because I did want to see him
on
like,
survive.
I want to see a redemption arc. If you're gonna have him do what he did and make a decision of not doing what he was supposed to do, then bring him back and do a redemption arc. But
And
no,
they could have. But yeah.
I just wanted to point that out because that was a big major thing.
And it's not the first time that they kill someone off, right? I feel like
Oh, all the time.
that was my. They didn't do it in Black Widow. I mean, they killed Drake off. I didn't care about him though, but at least they didn't kill Taskmaster. But unfortunately, Taskmaster was kind of a flop, right?
They
Um,
ruined that. They ruined that character. Like I really, I don't know. We'll see what happens with
and
Taskmaster.
then in Shang-Chi, they killed off Wenwu. I didn't want him to die.
Oh
So
my god, that was the biggest disappointment. I think
it
that's why I went on a major rant. Like, why are you killing the best villain in your MCU finally? And like you said, he's not even really a villain, but he's an interesting character.
same with Icarus. He's not really a villain, interesting character. So I was
I would.
when the Eternals didn't kill him, when they stopped the Celestial and he didn't die, I was like, oh my god, he made it! Like, yes, an interesting character. And then he goes into the sun, and I was like, no, why?
I did. I would have liked a little bit more personality with him though. He
For
he showed he showed flashes of it.
hmm
I guess you can't really say that because it's a very one of their family members just died, and I understand. And he's heavy with guilt and blah blah blah.
yeah.
Um, it just didn't connect, man. I just really
Well,
feel like it didn't connect.
with me, because you say we didn't really see like scenes of him with Ajax that would make us like care about them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like I still felt like he did love her. Just we didn't see a whole bunch of those scenes. But like if you're watching something and someone says like their mother, they had to kill their mom or their mom died or something, I don't know, and you never saw any scenes with those, you'd still be like, oh, that sucks. Like, so it was like that with me. Like just because we didn't see it doesn't mean that it wasn't real. So I did think he loved her. Could have done a better job of showing that. I mean, sure, but like people were already complaining about how long this movie was. I doubt they wanted it to be as long as Endgame, and it almost was. It was like 20 minutes shy, but to me, real quick, the
Really?
movie
Damn.
wasn't long to me. It didn't feel long. I don't know. I feel like it felt well paced for me at least.
I
I
absolutely
wasn't
disagree
bored
on that.
watching it. Then I talked to my brother and my mom, and I was like, "Oh, maybe they were bored, right?" And they said, "No, it wasn't boring." So, but I understand why it could be boring, but to me, it wasn't.
Not the whole movie's boring because
No.
they throw the little action sequences here and there to wake your ass up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I guess the term boring. It's not. A lot of people will throw that around. I even threw that around. Let's just say this. It lagged. There was gaps in the film where it lagged and it stretched, and it was really nothing interesting said or really done in those stretches of time where it did lag. There is some things that you kind of get like when they talk about a lot of the backstory and stuff that intrigue you, but there's a lot of things in this film where it might have been chemistry wise. I didn't think it was that bad at the chemistry of all the actors and the Eternals themselves. It just really felt like it was just more of. It didn't feel like it was really going anywhere. It felt I felt disinterest because a lot of the times when they were talking or they were joking, other than was it Kingo going
Yeah.
on and throwing the jokes, like the example is when they go to damn it, I always forget his name, Fostos.
Yes. His house.
Yes, when they go to his house, boring, lagging, very just by the numbers, script writing. Nothing. Take a Breaking Bad scene and you put Walter White, you put Jesse Pinkman, and you put Skyler on just at the dinner table. Scratch that. Another example: Quentin Tarantino, Inglorious Bastards. You put Christopher Waltz, the Jew hunter, and he's in the house with the guy who's hiding Jews. The most interesting, crazy talk I've ever seen of a drinking of a glass of milk I've ever seen in anything. That is intriguing. That is interesting. That was IKEA. That's not that funny, and it's not that interesting. It's not that interesting. It just felt like we're just. I get it. Chloe's trying to like bring you into this character's world and what he's all about for us to connect and be emotionally invested. But some of these characters you're not emotionally invested. And by the way, they killed Gil out off, and that was a big mistake too.
Yep. Everyone I watched it with, the second time everyone I watched it with, they were very
Hmm.
sad that Gil died. Because they really liked him. I mean, but look, is it's I like that they kill people off though, because
I do, yeah. It was
they're
it was it was more of a shock to me that they actually did kill Icarus and Gil, like the Eternals. Some of it because I thought Eternals two, right? Maybe they'll kill some people off, but Eternals one, no, they
hmm
kill some people off.
yeah. Well, with Icarus, I didn't want him to die, but that's just because it was an interesting character. And sure, maybe they could all maybe were interesting. Like Gilgamesh, he was an interesting character to me, but I do appreciate that they killed him off because it added more stakes. And honestly, I was getting scared after that. I was getting scared that they were going to kill Makari because they always have to nerf the speedsters, right? So, and dude, they were hitting her, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to die. Like when she was fighting Icarus, like he got her with some lasers. I thought she was dead, and then she like keeps fighting back, and she keeps getting hit. And I was like, oh, they're going to kill her off. So it did
Great.
make me worry more for the other Eternals, especially
Mhm.
in that final part. So I do like, although yeah, it's sad that they killed Gilgamesh off. I'd be a hypocrite if I said that I wish he didn't, because another thing is I always complain that they never kill off anyone in movies, and that means that there's no stakes. So I appreciate it.
I think the Mercury shots and the CGI really worked on that character. It was really cool when she was just like, especially when she was fighting Icarus. That was a really cool fight. And usually those, you know, once again, CGI fest fight at the end, but I think it was a little bit more toned down than, let's say, actually 10 times toned down than Shang-Chi's ending. So I appreciate that. And you called it, Selma Hayek died. She died in right from the beginning, kind of the beginning. They kind of misled you on the trailer. We thought she was going to go find Icarus first, and then they were going to get the band back together, but you called
Mhm.
it. You said, I think she's going to die. And
I
she,
said that because in one of the trailers there's a shot of all of them, but she's not in it. So I was like,
yeah.
all right. So, but I
Um,
wasn't expecting Gilgamesh to die, and towards the end, I was expecting maybe another character to die just because they had already called off two. What's another one?
mhm.
Just I thought it was gonna be like Makari or maybe Fastos. That would have been sad because he has a family. That would have been sad. So, but they just killed off Icarus, and I was like, damn it.
I thought
Um,
they might have killed. I thought they were going to kill Angelina,
oh
especially when
yes,
she was fighting the deviant at the
yeah.
end.
I thought they were gonna kill her off too because I was like such a big star. I'm pretty sure it costs a lot of money to get her and Salma Hayek because I feel like those are the two biggest names, but especially her, right? Um,
I want to say Selma Hayek. Her star
no,
has been like waning down. I think she was a reasonable price, and she
but
wasn't even in the movie a lot.
Angelina
Uh,
for sure, right? Like,
Angelina, I think, still making some paper. Yeah,
so that's why I was like, oh, they're probably once they kill off Gilgamesh, I was like, oh, they'll probably kill her off too because I just like the star power.
that's what
And
I feel like
she's like
should have been
super
cast as
strong.
another character in another
Mhm.
leading role. I think she still has it.
Yep,
And
she
I
does.
think this is not she should have had another. She should have had her own film.
Yep, but I agree with you that too. She's still like star-studded, and I don't care for her too much, but not because I dislike her. Just I haven't seen too many of her movies actually, but I know she's like super popular, right? A lot of people love her. But I was worried that maybe going into this movie she was gonna take a lot of that limelight.
Hmm.
But no, they did a good job at giving everyone like some attention, some love. One character that I just did not care for was Sprite. Um,
Let's get into that. Let's
yep,
get into Sprite.
going with Sprite.
The Tinkerbell
Yeah,
who was in
Tinkerbell.
love with Peter.
Can. Yep.
Yeah.
They can never be together for obvious reasons. Yep.
Sprite. Were you getting Arya vibes on her?
Who?
Arya? Were you getting Arya
Oh,
vibes on her?
um, no, not really. I know that didn't cross my mind till now.
No. Okay.
Not
'Cause
really.
so much Game of Thrones in it. I was just like,
I know, right? Yeah. No. But like, I'll just say right off the bat, when she went with Icarus, I thought it was like she was gonna trick
double
Icarus or something.
cross them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
then nah, she was
She
legit
was
on his
all
side.
in, baby. She was all in.
That surprised me because I was like, all right, she's going with him so that she's gonna like trick him at the end.
I,
But
I was
no, they didn't.
I was okay with that until
I was
she
okay with that.
stabbed Cersei, and she still gets a happy ending. I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
this bitch stabbed you,
I
and
don't
you're
know.
like, hey, that you gotta admit that was an ass pull when she's like, oh yeah, by the way, I could make you human now.
Oh no, that was that.
Totally an ass pull.
But I was thinking about it. I was like, how are they going to go forward with her as a character if she's still young, but the actual actress is
Yes,
gonna age, right?
yes.
So that's
I
something
mean,
I was thinking about. Um,
should have killed her
and
off.
then, and then they did that, and I was like, "What?" Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Like you said, it's
you
just
got to go to
it was
school now.
they're at you can tell at the end they're like, oh, we gotta do something about this, and they're like,
Yeah.
just make it so that she can do something all of a sudden at the end. It wasn't all of a sudden though, like, all right,
Shouldn't
you got the
shouldn't she
celestial
have
energy.
she should have consequences because she's not a little girl. She's in a little girl's body, but
Mm-hmm.
she's not a little she's a woman basically
She's the same
in her
age as everyone
mind.
else. She's the
She
same
should
age as
have
all the different.
consequences too.
Mm-hmm. Um,
Absolutely. She should either died or
yeah.
something. Like because she straight out went like, "Nah, Icarus, I'm representing Icarus." She does all the different volcanoes. I thought that was like it was so awkward though when what's his
What's
name?
satisfying getting when Druid hit her though?
It was
Or
awkward.
you were awkward? To
It
me, it
was
was satisfying. It was
like
funny. It
it
was
was
funny
supposed to be
'cause
a funny moment, but like
he
my
just
whole
gave the
audience were
speech
like,
and boom.
no, my whole audience basically was just like this, like the fuck, like it was like okay, like it
Um,
was it was funny, but like not in like ha ha I'm laughing at this joke way. It was like why, like I just yeah, dude. I think Sprite like I didn't have a problem with her through the movie until the end, and like I was like she's gonna get this happy ending after this bitch like stabbed Cersei and like was straight out about to end world. Just like just like Kingo. He was gonna go. He was gonna leave. He's like, what? I'm bounced. Like some
to
of
me,
these
they're different though, because she actually tried to stop them, and then she lost. With Kingo is like just he's like I don't want to fight you guys.
he did he is in this. He's either gonna be he can't just walk away from this. He can't. This is a big thing, and he walked away. You have to pick a side. At least Sprite picked a side.
He did choose a side though. He said it's Icarus, and we're not gonna stop him. So he just like oh Icarus is gonna win. I'll see you on the next planet.
So why are they
Um,
still friends with him?
That's true, yeah. Well, I guess because like you gotta remember they've been with each other for 7,000
No,
years.
fuck that guy. Like you were gonna have everybody die. Kit Harington, my lover over here, my
Yeah.
king. He's
No,
gonna die.
the only one for sure is Sprite. It's like even after she stabbed you in the back, it's like she stabbed you. I don't know if it was a stab to kill her, maybe just to stop her, but still, like this
And
girl
then she
stabbed you.
hugs her at the end, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go live." I was like, okay,
Sprite,
that was the one time I was like, "Come on, come
yeah.
on, come on."
No, same. Even like my friend, he's all like, "What the WTF?" Like she stabbed you. What are you doing?
Exactly. Why are you
Like,
doing? Why are you allowing this, Cersei?
mm-hmm.
Cersei, man. That's what I'm saying. Bland character. What the hell is wrong with you? Stupid decision making. Not a leader. Not a leader.
Um, Ajax thought so. No, but real quick, you said it earlier where you're like with Cersei, or I don't know if you said it, but like Cersei and Aerys, they
He
like
does look
they're
like
the love interests, right? Um, to me, they did fine, whatever. But surprisingly for me, I felt like you more of I was more interested in the relationship, even if I don't know, I don't think it was romantic, but the relationship between Grealish and Thena,
hmm
and also super interested in what appears to be like maybe a little romantic relationship between Druig and Makari. I don't
That's
know
totally
because
romantic. That's
that
totally
that
romantic.
they did like one of them can't even really verbally talk, right? But just those two characters' chemistry was to me better than the one that was in the like the main focus in Icarus
But
and
why did he leave her? Why did he leave her?
yeah, that's true. Why were they like they're like oh when
Separated.
he in the back not the backstory the flashback where he leaves. I'm assuming that's the last time any of them saw her, right? So
Saw him.
saw him. I mean, saw
Yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Um,
he even said it.
like I don't
Dominator
mean
here.
Makari's fast. She could probably travel around the world in like a minute. I don't know, but
See him. I don't know.
I
It looked like that they just this is they reunited.
Yeah, it looked like that was their first time seeing each other well.
Didn't
And
make
I don't
any
know
sense.
for them maybe what was it like 300 years? Maybe 300 years to them is like 3 months.
I,
So it doesn't feel that long. I don't know, but yeah, but still, like their relationship to me was more interesting, and I want to see more of it. Especially with in the end, you see that they're together, like not together in a relationship, you just together on the ship with Tina.
yeah.
So I'm interested to see more of them. Um, and we know that the story with them is going to continue. I don't think even as bad as this movie might do with like the general public or critics or whatever, I don't think they're just gonna abandon all these characters, right?
No, they
Um,
can't. But Eternals 2 might be out the window, but they might do a show or they might do include it. They have to with the post credit scene with Star Fox.
yeah, with that post credit scene and with how the movie ended with the
Kit.
or, well that too,
Oh
but
no! Oh, okay.
saying Arishem taking away the three,
Yes.
like
Let's,
they need
dude.
to go.
There is a lot to talk about when it comes to
There's
this
a lot
film.
in this movie, and now I see
Too
why
much.
people say that there is too. Like, I didn't agree with that, but now that we're talking about it, and we're already almost an hour in, I realize, oh no, there was a lot in this movie, but to me, I loved it.
Uh,
um, because there's still
Dominator.
a lot that we haven't talked about.
Dominator said Icarus looks like Bucky. I totally agree with that.
Oh, I get that from a lot of people. He looks like Bucky, like the recent Bucky, like Bucky and Falcon the Winter
Yeah,
Soldier.
yeah, yeah. The recent Bucky, not the Winter Soldier Bucky.
No,
Okay, let's yeah, we need to talk about these two major things because we haven't even touched upon them.
oh
So
yeah, there's
let's talk about the Celestials and let's
yes.
talk about the Deviants
All right.
because one of the major issues I had with this too. It was a cool. It was kind of cool though. I did like the evolution of the Deviants, how the one Deviant was like taking control and evolving, and all that stuff. Oh, what's Albert doing? He's gonna
Just turn
murder
on
me.
the fan.
So yeah, how the deviant was kind of that one deviant was evolving and stuff, and I thought it was gonna like be a major thing in the film, but not really. And he comes out of like nowhere in the ocean, and he's like, yeah, he fights Thena, and then he just dies. I thought that was kind of a waste, honestly. But what I really did like was, you're right, the Celestials. I think a lot of people are gonna get a little pissed off on overall religion, I guess you could
Yep.
say,
It,
because
it did
it
feel
is because if I'm not mistaken, the Celestials are the creators, basically man and evolution and all that stuff. I do love the look of the Celestial, or what's his name, the one Celestial.
after him.
Yeah, I thought that was like he. I think the one cool shot was when at the end, and it's like this Mortal Kombat, like at the end of the film, where you see Shao Kahn, and then you see this Celestial just like, and everybody's all freaking out, and everybody and takes Cersei and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool. That was pretty dope. I like that. And then
Um,
he's gonna pass judgment later on. I was
mhm.
getting so much Galactus vibes throughout
Yeah.
seeing these guys. I do think there's a huge problem though, a huge problem, not only for this film, but for the Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward because of these guys. But I'll save that real quick. But yeah, what do you think about the Deviants and the Celestials and the whole mythology of it all?
Oh yeah. Well, there was that. We got most of that explanation and all that backstory when Cersei talks to Arishem and he's explaining everything to her. Right. That's where we
Yeah,
got those scenes.
all of it. Yeah.
And just real quick side note: in IMAX, it filled up the whole screen for that entire scene. It was amazing. Um, but all right, the
Yes,
actual
Albert. We all
story.
know you went to IMAX. Some of us can't just drive over there.
It's worth it though. But all right, the actual story. Um, I mean, even in the beginning, I forgot. Yeah, the movie it doesn't start off just them on the ship. It starts off with like a little paragraph or some sentences, and it's telling you like in the beginning there was this and that, and before this, the Celestials created that. I do not
They
remember.
did not need that. That's how filming 101. If you see all that junk on the beginning of the movie, and they tell you that, even though they tell you the same shit later on in the movie, that's bad.
All right, I liked it at first though because I was like, oh my god, this is different. Marvel's never done this before. At least I don't think so. Maybe they did in the movie and I just forgot, but I don't
No,
think
I
they.
think that's the first time I think.
Yeah, so I liked that it was something different. I was like, oh my god, this movie is different. But yeah, when Arishem, which we might be butchering that name, I don't remember exactly how to pronounce it.
I
Something
just
like
call it Celestial. Yeah.
the main Celestial, the judge,
Yeah, yeah,
the
the judge. The judge.
the six eyes.
Yes.
Yeah, that guy is telling Cersei all this stuff, and I mean, it's the creation of the universe, the creation of Earth, of all its people, of what what the Celestials like plan is in the universe, and it's to make sentient or intelligent life, so that so that they could put a Celestial inside the planet with that intelligent life, and they can harvest that intelligent life and be born, something like that, right? Um, I liked it just because it was crazy, just because I was like, oh my god, like this is insane. There's a Celestial inside of Earth,
There's a baby.
a baby Celestial.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was getting like, oh, he is God. This is God in the Marvel universe. He's the one that's creating everything, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, damn, that's something huge to take on. And I mean, I was about to say the Avengers, but the Avengers I don't think can do much against that. Maybe
The
like
Avengers, no way, no how are defeating. There's no way. That's one of the problems I have with going forward in the Marvel universe. Well, let's say this: the Avengers, right? Seeing the Celestials and seeing like this just so much the power rankings now, the difference between Captain America and Icarus and all that stuff.
yeah,
Dude, like the Avengers at this point, like think Endgame, think Infinity War. At this point, they're basically Daredevil and Punisher fighting the streets in a Netflix series, and these guys are like the top dogs, right? Like they
dude, I
can't even
wouldn't
lift a
say that.
finger on them.
I would say the Avengers are the cops that you see in the background of the Marvel movies. And
Oh no, no, really, yeah,
that's what they are now. Because look,
yeah.
maybe Captain Marvel and Doctor Strange, right? But
Or
like
I don't even think Wanda cannot do anything, dude.
maybe Wanda too. Like I don't
I
know.
don't know,
We have to
man.
see how strong she is, but like Hulk isn't gonna do it. Darn
Damn
do
thing.
it, Celestial.
Spider Man ain't doing nothing.
Iron Man's not gonna do it. He can do
Thor can't do anything.
Thor's not.
Odin wouldn't be able to do anything.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, these
The
guys.
the the power ranking is unbelievable right now. Like it's like that's what I'm saying, man. Like, okay, okay, we're gonna do this because we're pretty late up on this. I gotta address this. Okay. You know what? Let's finish your thoughts on what do you think? Your the Eternals. Obviously, you loved it. What's your final thoughts on it?
All right, all right. I hope that they do make an Eternals 2, because if there's one thing that I would say that they did the best with in this movie was the characters. I loved all of them. I didn't care for Ajax, but she died. Like
Yeah, very
what?
beginning.
But all and Sprite, I'll just say I didn't care for her too much either. Um, maybe because she is like in a kid's body. I don't know. But the other 8 Eternals, I love those characters. And now Icarus and Gilgamesh are dead, so
Hmm.
that's like 6 that they still have that I am interested in. 6 of the 10. So I did, and these are brand new characters. This is like the first movie since Doctor Strange where where there's no character from a previous movie that's in this movie. Like everything's brand new. So I love the characters, and I'm excited to see them again. And I hope to make an Eternals 2, but they don't have to make an Eternals 2 to see these characters again. They might make a Disney Plus series too. That can work. Maybe it'll work better in for the Eternals. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's what I'm most excited for. Is these characters. My my the other thing I really liked was the score. I hope the man, I forgot his name, but I hope he can come back and score some other things for Marvel, because a big problem for them in the past was like they don't have like iconic scores, right? Other than like the
Other
Avengers,
than the Avengers theme, yeah.
like there's nothing too iconic. So
I
the
really like the Spider-Man Homecoming
our
soundtrack scores.
I like it, but just this one, it just felt. Maybe it's because like they're Eternals, they're
Yeah.
basically gods compared to humans, right? Compared to the people of Earth.
Well,
Um,
yeah, they are the what the Greek mythology and like they
mhm.
are the
Yeah,
people
they're those
from
type of gods.
history.
Like,
Yeah.
Ashram is the god. These guys are like gods with little g's. Ashram, big G god.
Yeah,
Uh,
big G god.
these guys, little G
They're
god.
the demigods. They're the
Yes.
demigods. Yeah.
So I like the characters and I like the score behind them. Like, I can't wait to own the movie. Well, like, I'm not too excited to own it just because I'm gonna be like, it was better in IMAX. But I did like the movie. So I'm excited for the characters. I was just disappointed that they killed off Icarus, and the Deviants I didn't care for. Those are my two biggest, I guess, things
Yeah.
I didn't like. Icarus dying, I didn't see a point in it. Um, and the Deviants like design characters overall, like the Deviants didn't even have to be in the movie really. It could have just focused more on the Eternal. Well, I guess they kind of had to be, but still, like they could have focused more on the Eternals fighting each other. Um,
Yeah.
it would have been
Within
cool
each
if
other.
they bring Icarus at then, because then it's yet another Eternal that have to fight. So it was kind of like a civil war, right? The Eternal Civil War. This movie could have been called.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's where I stand with the movie. Love the characters, and overall, I like the movie. Oh, I did love it,
Um, you
but I
bring
can see
this.
why people didn't. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
You bring Rob G. DeBage, whatever his name is, from Game of Thrones, who scored this film. You bring him into the Black Knight series with Kit Harington on a Disney Plus show. So, before we get to the major thing I really want to talk about, and where I think, because I think we need to address this, I need to address this big problem. But the
Um,
post-credit scenes.
all right.
So, I'm going to talk about this first because then the other one goes to like what I'm talking about. But listen, man, the one freaking guy that I wanted to see more of, and the one guy that I think is I was more attached to than any of the Eternals was Kit Harington. I
Okay.
was absolutely intrigued. Like, I don't know what this character is he's gonna become, but the post credit scene sees him having the getting his his uncle's sword or whatever, and
The family sword, yeah.
yeah, and I'm like, dude, and I heard about his powers. Like, this dude could do a lot with. It's kind of like if you ever read Berserk. Berserk has the guts has his armor that he becomes super powerful, but it takes a toll on his body. Like he literally his bones are breaking. But with this with Kit Harington's character, Whiteman, I think it was called. His name was. He could teleport. He could summon the sword. He could do a lot of things with this. It really really feels like kind of like a Doctor Strange kind of world he's kind of in a little bit. So I'm the one movie I'm very excited, but I think Marvel's gonna just tame it, and it's not gonna be as good as it should be. Is Blade, and to hear I didn't even know that was Blade talking to him. That gets me. That gets me. Makes me erect a little bit. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's pretty awesome. Like I want to see. If I'm not gonna get Game of Thrones, really broke me, man, really broke me. And to redeem that mess, even though it's not the same character, but just to know that Kit Harington is doing another thing like this where he's a knight or something like that, he has a sword, and if you bring the scorer Ramen into this, Holy shit, man, I'm all for it. And then he's gonna be killing vampires? Yes. I want it. I need it. That's what I'm most excited for. Not Eternals 2, not Icarus, not Cersei, not anybody. The guy who only had like 10 minutes, or not even 10 minutes, like 6 minutes of screen time. And he was the boyfriend of an Eternal. I'm
Oh
more
yeah.
excited of what his story is about, what
Mhm.
he's gonna do. Especially now that I know that because I was like, who the hell was that talking to? Maybe it's gonna be like a character that we haven't seen before. But it was freaking Ali. It was Blade. I was like, hell yeah, baby.
And no one in my theater knew.
No,
Um, and just like you, I didn't know, you didn't know until we read that Chloe
yeah,
Zhao confirmed that that was him, and the
Muhammad,
character played
Muhammad Ali, I believe, or something like
Mer-
that. Yeah,
Mahershala Ali. I
Ali.
want to say
Yeah, and he's gonna be a great Blade. He has a great look. I'm super
he
looking. I
looks a
love Blade.
great Cottonmouth in Luke Cage. He's gonna be a good
Yeah,
Blade in Blade. Um,
he's a great actor. He has
yeah,
that. He has those eyes too. That really like he could. He's the type of actor that you just look at him and he has all facial like facial expressions and he can really convey with his face and his eyes. It's a great signing. I just think they're gonna freaking ruin the hell out of the movie because they ain't gonna make it rated R. They're gonna make it
um,
PG-13.
we'll see what they do with that movie. But yeah, I agree with you. I am excited to see what um Kit Harington, Dane Whitman. Do you know his hero name? 'Cause- Is
I just call him a Black Knight, honestly.
yeah, the Black Knight,
Yeah,
Dane Whitman. Um, I'm excited to see that portrayed on the big or little screen. Probably, I don't know. I could probably see him more being a
little
Disney
screen.
series. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think they believe in Kit Harington is a leading man in a big screen. But he might pop up in Blade now that I mean
for sure.
now,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh,
Um,
not the main guy. You give Ali the main guy, but I would totally be down for him to be a supporting cast member on like future Doctor Strange movies, Blade. If they're gonna cross Morbius in there,
that's something I've heard. Moon Knight.
yes, I heard that he might be in Moon Knight too. That's very intriguing as well.
Um, well, yeah, Blade or Kit Harington. I forgot which one I saw, but one of them in Moon Knight, maybe both. That's what I was seeing. But yeah, I like it, and I like that they introduced him now, because now we've seen him a little bit, and now we've gotten after credits scene, and we're like, oh, there's more to this guy. So the next time we see him, we'll know just a little bit about him. We know he's a man that lives in like London, and he's this museum teacher or something, and he has some family history. So we've met him, and
Relationship with Cersei.
a relationship with an Eternal. The
How
Eternal's missing.
how strange was it when he said, "I love you, Cersei"?
Oh yeah, no, him and Richard Madden, when Icarus, when they were both like saying, "Oh, I love you, Cersei. Like I'll do anything for
Cersei
you."
Lannister?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly,
that
right? You
was,
know,
uh,
Disney knew what they were doing, those assholes.
yeah. They knew. That's why when they met, it was like they knew what people's reactions would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after credit scene, that was the second one. I liked it.
Oh,
I
yes, that
just
was the second one.
I do wish we would have seen Blade, just because the theater would have exploded. Oh my, that would have been crazy. But we didn't see him. I don't know if it was like they
Hey,
couldn't get him, or that was
hey,
the choice that they. Yeah.
we see him in Morbius, probably.
They.
And don't say we don't, because we already got a Venom end credit scene.
Yeah. Big is true, and
God.
if it happens, you heard it here first from Dan the Man.
From Dan to Man, calling it.
I would have never
More,
assumed or guessed that, but now that you say
mm,
it, I could see it. Because
Morbius end credit scene. It continues because a lot of people are super confused. Like, okay, what the hell's going on with Morbius? Blade's gonna show up at the end of the end credit scene.
oh man,
Just
that'd be crazy. But yeah, real quick.
You thought Venom was crazy, right?
No, we thought that was crazy. That would be even more insane. I could see it. It can work now that we saw the Venom after credit scene. Now I will not But if before the Venom credit scene, if you had told me that, I would have been, you are insane for even thinking that's a possibility. But after the Venom scene, after the Venom after credit scene of him going into the Marvel Cinematic Universe instead of the Sony universe, and Peter Tom Holland appearing on the TV, I'll tell you that anything is possible. So yeah, that would be cool if it happened. I wouldn't. I'd be surprised still, but now like there, it could happen. Um, but yeah, just so I can tell you real quick, um, I what I thought when I heard the voice, I was dumb, right? I thought the sword was talking to him or something, or maybe like his past ancestor. So
Yeah,
I was thinking those lines, and then
I was
when they
thinking
said
his
Blade,
uncle
oh, his uncle,
because
that
he turns and looks, and I was like, I didn't think it was a sword.
you know who it sounded though? Like it sounded to me, it sounded like the guy from what's it from The Matrix, Morpheus,
Oh,
uh,
the new Morpheus or the older one?
the older one. Yeah, you
Lawrence
know.
Fishburne.
Yes, it sounded like him, and when my stepdad told me like Matrix, like um Morpheus, and I was like, oh my god, it does sound like him. I was like, I don't know, maybe it was that actor. Then I we saw it was Mahershala Ali, and I was like, dang, that's crazy. But yeah, I
Yeah.
wish we could have seen, but oh well. So I'm excited for those characters. The other after credit scene, it's exciting as well. Um,
What do you think about Harry Styles?
yeah, like it. I don't have a problem with it.
The
The
only
only
thing I had a problem with that was the
uh,
god awful Scorpion King CGI on that stupid
yeah,
troll.
yes, I was looking at the
God.
only problem I had wasn't nothing with him. The little Pip the troll. Oh my! When he popped up, I was like, ugh, and not in a good way. Not like ugh, as in that's how he was intended to look. As in what happened there? Did they just make this 2 weeks ago? And again, I'm usually not the one that says CGI looks bad or green screen's horrible. But on that thing, if I say something like that is bad, it probably is bad because I hardly ever complain about CGI.
Dude, there was a part where the voice didn't even sync up with like the CGI lips.
Uh,
And then it cuts right away to like the reaction shot. That thing was an abomination. I'm like, right away, I was thinking Scorpion King, The Rock, when he was the Scorpion and this horrible CGI. I was like, exactly. Like, what did they just film it like yesterday? Like, what is the deal with that? Like, what happened in that? Come on, you can't tell me you ran out of money to do a better job on that little goblin looking guy, man. I mean, the Leprechaun movies look better than that guy. That was that bad. It was bad. It was so bad.
he looked horrible.
And
Yeah.
he wasn't even funny. And it was just terrible. It was terrible. I hated it. I was like, this is terrible.
You see, I had already known who was gonna come out right there. So when he came out, I was just like I knew that he was gonna come out to introduce Harry Styles because I don't know why, but the only spoiler I heard after the movie premiered in Hollywood was after credit scene Harry Styles, brother of Thanos, and I was like, wow, this guy's I know that he's a huge star, but I was like, he's big enough to where critics will spoil the after credit scene, whereas like on Twitter and like it was everywhere. But yeah,
I don't
um,
know too much about him, but I was like, whatever.
it's
I mean,
just the
that
people,
doesn't
I
didn't
guess.
look like Thanos' brother to me, but all right.
Well, you see, I don't think they're blood brothers. I want to
No,
because
probably not.
then that's where it gets complicated. Because if they are, he's an Eternal. Does that mean Thanos is an Eternal? That don't make sense, though. So yeah, I think well, Harry Styles, Star Fox is an Eternal. I believe his brother Thanos was not blood. It was more like an adoption or like I don't know. They grew up together. I don't know, but yeah, I don't. He didn't
You
look
know
like.
what? I'm gonna save my big why I think Marvel is in trouble video for a video I'm gonna edit because there's a
Yeah.
lot. I'm gonna do that, but I am gonna say that. Um, I mean, the two after credits were fine. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to Kit Harington, but After I left the theater, I just like I sat I looked at Sandra in the face. I said, Sandra, she's like I said, she's everyday moviegoer, general audience, comes in this thing not looking for Citizen Kane or Oscar worthy movies. She goes in there and every Marvel movie, including Thor 2, she liked. But she did say that Eternals was kind of boring. But I asked her, do you think that it's just too much? Like, give me your honest answer. Do you think that Marvel's just doing too much, or do you think you're excited for what's gonna come ahead? She told me like, yeah, I mean, just a little bit, there's a because she's seen the Loki series, she's seen most of the Marvel series. Yeah, I think she's seen all the Marvel series actually. So here's the thing. I think honestly, it's just too much. You have too much going on. We're going to space. You're going to bring Fantastic Four in, and who's coming with them? Galactus, Doctor Doom, Silver Surfer. You have X-Men coming in. You have the Kree War coming in. You have um, whoever's the threat in the next Avengers movie coming in. You have the multiverse. How long are they going to expand the multiverse storyline? There is a ton of stuff happening. Marvel, you're starting to become a Spider-Man 3. That's what I felt like in Eternals too. Is there's too much stuff you're trying to do and you think you could handle it, but the shit is breaking. It's not balanced. It's teetering one way. I really honestly believe there is a thing called superhero fatigue, and I think what's saving Marvel right now is the multiverse storyline, because even though how complicated it is, it's actually the most simplistic out of everything they're trying to throw at us after watching Eternals. There's so much shit in Eternals now that they just opened up when I'm still trying to wrap my head around the stuff they're gonna bring and the stuff they already brought with the multiverse and Loki.
Yeah.
Dude, there's too much. It's too much. And then I did not want to admit it. I did not want to agree with it, but I'm starting to agree with it. The movies prior to it, the Avengers that we all know and love, you know why we are connected with them? Because they're people who had to create or rise and become the heroes they were. While the Eternals were kind of already heroes, or were the robots technically, but it makes like Endgame and Infinity War less epic, honestly, to me, because like we just said, they're the cops in the background with the bigger G up in the sky. So it makes me think like, then why the hell does this all matter? Why did it matter? Who cares if Thanos won? Because it wouldn't matter because the Celestial is about to be born and about to, which was kind of cool. I like that idea. And just destroy Earth. Like, who cares? It don't matter. It doesn't matter anymore. It makes the other films feel lesser and not as more impactful. So what I'm gonna say on this Marvel podcast is The Dark Knight still holds up. It's a better film. Go for it, Albert.
Yeah. Um, I wish I could have seen those in theaters back in the day.
The Dark Knight?
Yeah. The only one I saw was the 2012 one, the one with Bane. I still have never seen the
Mm.
first one with Scarecrow.
I really
And
like that one. I know that was like the lesser out of everybody's like.
I've seen the one with the Joker.
Now
Uh,
I said the Dark Knight because Endgame to me was the same feeling I got as the Dark Knight, where it that's why I said it was right there with the Dark Knight. Dark Knight is a more superior movie technically and actually enjoyment, but Endgame I got the same enjoyment out of it. But now that all this stuff is happening, like if I go back and I watch Infinity and Endgame, yeah, I'll probably still enjoy it because I really root and love the characters, and there's still the epic moments, right? But it doesn't carry the same weight because now it's kind of like it's just like Star Wars. Star Wars, the original trilogy, was the bomb. Like you had New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and then Return of the Jedi was it. That was done. They won. Luke, his arc, yes. Then they announced the prequels, and it didn't matter because that was before the Star Wars we loved. We're like, that's all right. Prequels were trash, Jar Jar, blah, blah, blah. There's some good things about it. It doesn't ruin the original trilogy. And then Disney comes in here, fee, fi, ho, thumb. I'm about to just crap on all you guys. They make The Force Awakens, which wasn't bad. They make The Last Jedi, and then they make The Rise of the Skywalker. And what happened? It makes the original trilogy of that Star Wars film, it ruins it. It ruins it because they ruin Luke, they ruin Leia, they ruin Han. The story, they continue that storyline, and it just doesn't work in the new trilogy. That's how I'm starting to feel with Marvel. I'm not saying it absolutely ruins Endgame or Infinity War. I'm just saying it doesn't, going back and watching those films, it doesn't carry enough weight anymore because now we know that there's bigger threats. And honestly, they're just a little tiny ant to a fucking huge ass world. They could easily be squashed by these power ups and all, and these new characters we're getting introduced, and this new these Celestials now knowing the thing about them. I mean, I don't know if that has any weight for you. I don't know if you feel that a little bit,
To
or you
me,
just
because they still save the world in their movies, you know.
yeah.
So they still matter to me because if it wasn't for them, then like in Age of Ultron, if it wasn't for them, I don't think the Eternals weren't gonna bother stopping Ultron.
Yeah.
Um, so it still does hold weight. And another thing too is this: we're barely in the first year of post like Infinity Saga Marvel. Um, it's gonna end with the Spider-Man No Way Home, and then well, I guess it's you can't really say like the first year because it's pretty much continuous content. Um, so, but we're still like in the first half of Phase 4, which is the first phase after the Infinity Saga. So I don't want to really like judge it, I guess, until after Phase 4 is done, because we know the Avengers title will come back, and yeah, it's not gonna be the same Avengers. It can't be, but I feel like they're gonna make the Avengers relevant again. Right now, they're not the focus, but that's because they need to build other heroes, um, and I'm fine with it. But like Shang-Chi isn't gonna do anything against these celestial beings, but he could join the Avengers and do something against like Doctor Doom or Magneto or whoever the heck they bring in, right? Um, if the comics can do all these storylines, then I'm sure the movies can figure out a way to do it as well.
Do not
But,
use the comics. The comics are just absolute mess of storylines.
or, but,
Mess.
but yeah, the Eternals opened up a lot, right, with the Celestials, but the Celestials worked across like centuries and stuff. So him saying he'll be back to judge Earth, that might not be until after the multiverse saga, um, and they just started here. I don't know. I don't think they'll do like multiverse stuff and celestial stuff at the same time.
So did King write that?
Kang, I don't know because are we past the point where he stops writing stuff? I don't like. Remember, there's the end of time where
Did
he's
he
like,
create the Celestials?
I don't think so because he didn't.
That's
He
what I'm
didn't.
saying.
He
Like
didn't
what?
create.
This doesn't make any sense if you think about it
No,
at all.
he didn't create stuff. He isolated his timeline or his universe from the others, and he's just making sure that everything to happen up to the point of where he was like born or whatever was like still in check.
But he's
That's
still writing the story, so he would still be writing the Eternals' actions.
um all right. Well, look, here's the thing that I'll say is, what if a celestial does something they're not supposed to? How's the TVA gonna take care of that? That's my question. It's
My
not.
question is the What If series too, if it's
Oh
supposed to
yeah.
be canon. So we saw a lot of scenarios of the What If and the Earth being apocalyptic. Where's the Eternals? Where's the
Like,
baby? Where's the Celestial being born?
uh-huh. Uh-huh. Well, we'll see that in probably season 2. I don't know.
I don't
Uh,
think so. I think I mean I'm nitpicking here. You know, honestly, every movie you think of, you could think about it really hard. There's gonna be
mhm.
flaws in it, storyline flaws. You kind of just got to go with it. I'm just saying, Marvel. I'm not judging just yet, like you, Albert. But they need to watch their stuff. They need to make sure that they do have a plan, which I do have confidence that they do. But there is a thing where if you don't tread lightly and if you really don't plan to a T, I think this next decade of Marvel could really fail for them. That's what I'm saying is that I think it happens all the time, Albert, where Big Dog was on top, but look at the little dog coming after him. DC can come after him because DC hasn't even touched on really anything because they are not able to get the freaking ball going. But now that if there's a chance they could actually have not used their greatest storylines like Marvel has or their characters, and they could actually come after Big Dog up top because I think Big Dog is kind of going down a little bit in quality. That is, but we'll
Yeah.
see. I'll give it. I gotta see. You're right. I gotta see their next slot of films. Most anticipated movie. Absolutely looking forward to it. No Way Home. I'm scared, but I'm excited.
I'm in No Way Home hype now. I wasn't on the train because I wanted to be just on Eternals hype train, but now that Eternals is done and over, I'm ready for No Way Home. And
I game changer. I think it's a game changer for sure already. Yeah.
and Doctor Strange, I
Yes.
I'm more hyped for that than No Way Home, honestly.
It's pushed back now.
Oh, for real, I haven't heard of that. But
I
wait,
think it's
yes,
put.
I remember. I just didn't go too much into it, but like all the Marvel movies got pushed back to whatever Marvel movie was gonna come out after it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember.
Wakanda stopped production because of an injury. Of
I,
which
I
one?
I saw that too.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not too worried about it. I am hyped for that movie just for the like same reason that a lot of people are is because we want to know how they're gonna handle that storyline. Um, After the unfortunate passing of Mr. Chadwick Boseman.
Oh
Um,
yes, yes, Wakanda.
but right now I'm more focused on the next 2 movies, No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness, because we're getting into the multiverse officially now. Um, I feel like we're gonna get a touch of it, or more than a touch of it, in No Way Home. But Multiverse of Madness, I will tell you that right now, I'll be disappointed if the multiverse story ends in Multiverse of Madness. I don't think it will, but if it does, that'll be disappointment for me. But yeah, I'm excited for those 2. Hawkeye, I'm watch, but I'm just gonna be thinking about
Yeah,
Spider-Man the whole
the
time.
Disney Plus series shows. We're just like, yeah, we'll see if it's good or not, right?
Yeah. It's just crazy because I think Hawkeye, when Spider-Man comes out, it'll be between the start and end of Hawkeye. So I don't know how they're gonna, and they're also I think they're like around the same time because in the Doctor Strange or I mean in the Spider-Man trailer we see that it's like snowing in the Sanctum Sanctorum, whereas Hawkeye we know is around Christmas time, and they're both in New York I believe. So
Yeah,
um,
we'll see how that
possible
goes.
that Hawkeye comes out in Spider-Man. I'm not sure, um, but I'm excited for Hawkeye just for Kate Bishop. But yes, No Way Home. I think a trailer drops on Monday. By the way, I think a trailer drops within the next 12 hours. I think
Well,
tickets as well.
I'll be home, so I'll be doing a live reaction on that. Well, let's see. Let's take a look if it's even out yet. You know how it's just breaking news.
Imagine we just see right now. No, I don't think so.
No, it's not
Um,
out. Oh, by
no.
the way, terrible fantasy week for me.
Unfortunately, it looks like I'm gonna get my third loss in a row, but it's all right because it's
Whew.
my only 3 losses. But um, Mr. Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams and Adam Thielen and DJ Moore were all wide receivers that I played because we could play 2 flexes here in my league, and I combined they got me like 20 points. So
DJ Moore was trash today.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch the games because I was out of town, and when I got here, I was doing other stuff. But it's not looking too good. But yeah, fantasy football, man, you gotta love
Yeah,
it. Some
all
some
about that
weeks you'll get
Marvel.
almost 200 points. Some weeks you won't even break 100.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna worry about it anymore. It's giving me too much stress in my life.
Yeah. But no, Eternals. I I loved it, man. I don't know. I feel crazy for because it doesn't look like a lot of people did, but I loved it. Uh, but
I thought it was okay. It wasn't
what
the greatest thing in the world.
to tell you that I don't love everything Marvel. Did not like Falcon the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I think we could both agree that was such a disappointment.
Yep. But yeah, I
I,
can't wait to buy Shang-Chi later this month and Eternals in a couple of months and put them with the rest of my Marvel movies over there.
I'm rooting for DC. I hope DC comes up with something.
Wait, so with the three Marvel movies that came out this year so far, would you say Eternals was better? I know it would be better than Shang-Chi for you. Do you think it's better than Black Widow?
It's so hard because like Eternals was lagging in a lot of parts. It was too long. Where
Uh-huh.
Shang-Chi at least kind of like was a faster pace. And even though
Uh-huh.
I just absolutely hated the Shang-Chi was the reason why I was so mad about it is because it could have been so much more. That was a movie I actually thought could be more. Where Eternals, I was like, I think it's going to be mediocre, and it was mediocre to me. Black Widow, I told you I liked. I just think that script wise too, that had so many problems. Taskmaster, but I did like it. I did enjoy watching it. So out of the three, mm,
Which one would you rewatch if you had to choose to rewatch one?
none of them.
So
I
so
never I
far,
never went back and watched any of them again.
I saw Black Widow 3 times, Shang-Chi 4 times, and so far I've seen this one twice. But I know
I
you're probably thinking, how did he do this? But
Well, Shang-Chi had the worst ending in such a long time.
well, I'll tell you with Shang-Chi, the actual ending, it ended abruptly. I was like, oh my god, there's no like they defeated the main baddie. 2 minutes later, it was over. I was like, oh,
It was
that
so
is quick.
stupid. I didn't like. You
Um,
know what? I'll say Black Widow,
all
just
right.
because of Florence Pugh,
So
Yelena.
so
Oh,
far,
and then what's his name? Red Guardian.
yeah,
I really liked Red Guardian.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we can see
You,
him back. Hopefully, we do. Um,
I
but
don't know. I don't know
it's
about them. I don't know. Now I don't know. There's too much going on. I don't know.
but with the Disney Plus series, and they're doing like 4 movies a year and like 4 shows a year. It appears like so they're gonna. Oh, something that maybe we could, or maybe you could do a video on it. Will be Disney Plus Day on November 12th, on Friday. Disney Plus, they're gonna
I'm actually looking forward to the Luca short.
the Luca.
Yeah,
I haven't
it's
seen the movie.
oh, you never seen it? It's delightful,
I want to
delightful.
watch it. It's Pixar, right?
It's Pixar, delightful.
I haven't seen all the Pixar movies, but I love Pixar. I think well, probably the best animation studio. They
I
make good content, so yeah.
I like DreamWorks. I like DreamWorks. They made some bangers in their heyday. How to
But
Train Dragon still number one in my list.
oh man, the only How to Train Your Dragon I never saw was the first one.
That's like the best one.
That's what people tell me. I even saw some of the some of the cartoon, the TV show, when I was a little younger, when I was like in
I
high school.
really appreciate that they did a TV show and they got the two actors to play the voices. It's
Hmm.
great.
But yeah, just back to Eternals with or Marvel with this video is about. I'll say I am excited, but also like cautiously excited because yeah, they to me Marvel hasn't messed up this year with the 3 movies. Just Black Widow, I'll agree with everyone. Should have came out years ago, but with Shang-Chi and Eternals, I liked it. The shows all right, Falcon the Winter Soldier. I could have lived without it, um, but they could they could drop the ball. You know, anyone can. And I am excited for DC. I am excited for the Flash movie. Um,
I
I,
think we need competition. I think Marvel needs competition.
they do need competition because just like a prime example with wrestling, they
AEW baby.
companies thrive in competition, right? Because now they actually have to try a little harder.
We definitely need to do a cast on the craziness over there that's going on. But all right, this is going 140. We talked about Eternals a lot. There is a lot to talk about.
There's
There's a lot
still
of
some
things
stuff that
they
we didn't touch.
brought. I know. Well, we're gonna have to do another cast. I think we'll do especially when we do Spider Man. We'll do a Spider Man once the trailer drops. We'll
So
talk more of
maybe in
future.
about 20 hours we'll be back.
Yes,
I
I'll
really
hit
think
you
it's
up.
Monday.
I'll let you. We'll schedule something. I have Monday and Tuesday off.
All right, awesome. We'll see if it comes out.
Yeah,
But
we'll
yeah.
see. I'm not expecting it, but we'll see.
All right. Oh,
We'll see.
better not soon. I think it's tomorrow. But all
I
right,
did
they
see
can.
a leak trailer supposedly, but it looked really real. So
Was it about? Was it on the bridge?
I think so.
And like you see Spider-Man swinging, and then he stops.
No,
All right, because I saw a leak too. I was like,
nah.
"There's
There
no
was
way."
nah. This was real. This is the one I sent to you.
Oh, the green
Yeah, that
paint.
was paint. That was paint. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I think that's real. You want me to tell you what I saw? What I don't think is real.
What? Oh, the three Spider Mans on the bridge.
Yeah, yeah, the Spider-Man like
That's
swinging on
fake. It's
the bridge,
fake. No, that's
and then he
stupid. Not fake.
stops. And I thought that was real. And then the three Spider-Man come out, and I was like, "There's no way they come out in
Dude,
that."
if they put that out there, that's terrible. That's a terrible. That's not going to be the introduction, but I don't think that's
I'll
great.
tell you another leak real quick, just the one that I heard that I think is real is that the trailer ends with like Peter looking up at something, and you just see two shadows, and I think they'll probably do something like that.
That's the same thing they did for Batman, Michael Keaton in the Flash trailer. The cowl in the back. Did you see the Flash trailer? A little
Oh,
sneak peek.
they'll probably do something like that. But yeah,
That's what it sounds like. But I
we'll
don't know.
see. We'll see. It could have just
Oh,
like all leaks. I feel like they're fake. So
I know.
yeah.
I'll just wait till the real trailer now at this point.
hmm
All
But
right. We
it was
talked
disappointing.
Eternals.
hmm Eternals is done. It's over. Next is Hawkeye.
Hawkeye, Spider Man. We'll talk about Spider Man trailer. If it drops tomorrow, try to get you on here, and
I'll
then
be free, I
I'll do a
think.
live reaction for show.
Yep.
Um,
Are you
so
planning on doing these for Hawkeye, like talking about them, or does it depend?
yeah, it depends if the series is actually something I'm interested in or not, and if not, then I'll just drop it.
Yeah. Well, like I shared with you last time, and you told me that you had already known. I was like, oh man, I thought it was like breaking news was that they're dropping the first two episodes.
Oh yeah. That dropped a while back though. Yeah,
So
two
that's
episodes.
exciting for me. Because I think it's on Thanksgiving week. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to talk to you more, some more Marvel stuff.
Yeah, there's a
Hawkeye,
lot, and it's always a.
Hawkeye.
I think Albert just waits to see if I hate it or not.
Oh yeah, I when I saw Eternals, I was like, yeah, he's probably gonna be in the bunch of the people that said bad movie. But I
I
am happy
don't
to
hate
hear.
it.
I am
I
happy
don't
to
hate it.
hear that although you didn't like it or love it, you didn't. You don't agree with everyone saying that it's one of the worst Marvel
It
movies
is
out
not
there.
one of the worst. It's ridiculous to say that it's one of the worst Marvel
Would you say it's
movies.
like mid tier? Like,
Yeah, if I had to put it on the tier list, it would be like Thor one, um, Thor one. What else did I put by Thor one? Thor Ragnarok.
what about Ant Man's?
Oh yeah, I like in the Ant Man. Yeah, the Ant Man sections too. But I really like the Ant Man movies for some reason. So,
All right, yeah.
but like
You want to know where I rank this movie?
probably in the
I ranked
top.
it in my top 5.
Jesus Christ. Listen, man, I didn't hate the movie. I don't think but I do think it does deserve criticism. I think
Oh,
some
for
of the
sure.
criticism is definitely warranted. I don't. You're right. I don't want to say the movie was boring. It was lagging a lot.
They
The
could have cut
script.
some parts out to make it cleaner.
No, I think
Um,
even the editing, like, it's a script, man. They really needed to touch up that script. They needed to touch it because if you touch up the script, your editing it doesn't lag as much like that. Like your editing doesn't have to like really try hard to make this movie like flow better. The script, I really feel like it was the script, or unless, and then the flashbacks, the jumping back and forth, and then the placement of it. It really hurts the film, and I think a lot of people. That's why a lot of people are not going to go back and watch it because it's too long. It's too long for what they presented. But all right, we talked about it enough. I'm ready to watch Spider-Man tomorrow. Hopefully, let's talk more Marvel in the future. I want to thank you guys. Like always, subscribe, like, and then yeah, support the channel. But thank you, Mr. Marvel, Albert.